Hellmaster EX. This award-winning system features the first single-engine joystick with digital electric steering and new autopilot capability. See Hellmaster EX in action at a Yamaha Outboard dealer or visit YamahaOutboards.com.
The Fishing News is sponsored by these fine partners.
Tog, or blackfish, still your best bet in the new year, down to 4 fish at the Jersey Shore, 15-inch size limit and open all the way through February. So spot lock it in as the prime target if you're looking to score in this weekend ahead, which honestly, other than what looks to be a little bit of cold and maybe a little bit of freezing rain a little bit in here and there, it looks pretty good for the guys in the for-hire boats running to the Tog grounds. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. It's Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Remember to write that down on your checks. We're back to our regular Thursday programming once again for the new year. No more holidays around to throw us off our schedule. Not until sometime in the spring or in the summer, July 4th. Haven't even looked ahead that far. Of course, at this point, black sea bass is officially closed along the Atlantic coast, certainly here in New Jersey. That will open up sometime in May. Leaving off the charter and for hire guys, the charter and headboat guys, because they used to have a January, February fishery. But at this point, in January, the boats that are sailing are also going to load up on some jumbo porgies at the offshore wrecks, maybe a cod or a pollock or two, like we see here on the Big Jamaica out of Brielle. Maybe some tasty ling included in that. But how about weak fish? I saw where Captain Eric Kerber was squeezing out a final offshore sea bass trip or two right before the new year and got a few jumbo weak fish offshore. Not just this one, but there were a couple of them. It happens from time to time. We do get the occasional report, January into February, especially on boats like the Big Jamaica, who are going to the offshore grounds. But we see weak fish in those catches, a species that we commonly think of as a north to south migrating fish. But some of those big weak fish can be found offshore during the winter months, an enigma of sorts. We're heading into the show season, 2025. Boat shows, fishing shows, flea markets, open houses. And whenever the fisherman has a table, we invariably get to talking, myself and guys who come by the booth, and we start talking about the old days. And especially weak fish, as an example, when it was king down on Delaware Bay, thinking back to the 1980s. I was going through my files over the last week because I'm transferring all the old editions into the file cabinets, and I stumbled into one of these old magazines that I have filed away. It's from April 13th, 1989. A blast from the past. Folks who remember when Fortescue was known as the weak fish capital of the world. In the 1980s, there were dozens of boats sailing out of Fortescue, Gandy's, Port Norris, other Delaware fishing docks. And spring, the April fishery, would draw anglers by the thousands from all over the tri-state region. So where are these weak fish today? Offshore, perhaps, but nothing like those banner days of the 80s and 90s, or even going back to the 1880s and the 1890s. A social media post I saw recently from historian Steve Dodson from an old newspaper circa 1889. Folks bringing home 147, 102, even 200 weak fish after single-day trips in the Beach Haven area. I thought the report on David Ingle was interesting too. This is going back to July of 1889. 7 sheep's head, up to 55 pounds. The month of July, 1898. Cycles and conservation. We have a fisheries management process today, thankfully, even in those times where perhaps we think the limits might be a little too harsh, but the pendulum swings both ways, and the alternative is hard to fathom. Thursday night, January 9th, that's tonight if you're watching this on Thursday, the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council will meet at 5 p.m. at Galloway Township. That's the Atlantic County Library branch. It's on Jimmy Leeds Road. I don't see anything groundbreaking on the agenda for this Thursday night meeting, but I'm looking forward to seeing the newest council member, John Tiedemann, seated at the head table with the rest of the counselors. Now, we've been pushing this issue for years, 5 years, I believe, here at the Fisherman magazine, the missing slots on the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council. And finally, with Governor Phil Murphy officially in his lame duck year, one of those 2 empty slots has been filled, praise be to God. Tiedemann takes over the seat that was vacated in 2019, that's 6 years ago, when James Alexis stepped away from the council. The other empty seat was once held by Sergio Ridosi, who left the council, left the entire state, I think, in 2020. After a lot of pushing, poking, prodding, our lame duck governor nominated Greg Hewith of the Big Mohawk last summer to fill that Ridosi seat. Just waiting for the New Jersey Senate Judiciary Committee to approve that appointment. I spoke to Greg earlier this week, and he said he has been in touch with a couple of legislators, his senator, as an example. So hopefully that process will move forward. Yeah, like it or not, partisan politics at the state and federal level does impact how, where, and for what we can fish. And anything that comes out of Thursday's meeting of the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council, the good, bad, ugly, and irrelevant, I'll share it with you in next Thursday's video. Now, back to the shows. This weekend is our very first of the new year as the Wildwood Fishing and Boating Expo cruises into the Wildwood Convention Center from January 10th through the 12th. That's Friday, January 10th, Saturday the 11th, and Sunday the 12th. Show hours are 1 to 7 on Friday, 9 to 6 Saturday, and 9 to 2 on Sunday. Admission, $10 for adults, $3 for ages 6 to 13, and it's free for those 5 and under. You can get all the details on this show at fishingexpowildwood.com. Come out and see us. We'll be at the show, the Fisherman magazine. We'll have a table. We'll be taking your new and renewing subscriptions, and in return, we'll give you a set of Danko pliers, the 6.5-inch Doughboy Tournament Series. That's valued at $29. Not a bad deal with a single-year subscription to the Fisherman magazine. Find the ad. It's on page 28 of that January edition of the Fisherman magazine. You know who else is going to be there in Wildwood on Saturday and Sunday at our table and in the seminar area? Our own Jenny Ackerman. She has fluke seminars in Wildwood this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. and then again on Sunday morning at 10:30. Find out all about Jenny's tactics, her tips, and her gear selection for fishing for summer flounder or fluke. Following up that Fall Run Surfcasters Challenge in open boat in 2024, and Jenny is showcasing viewers who submitted their photos catching fish on a sand eel teaser. Let's hop aboard open boat and see which one of you made the cut.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat, and today we are at the winner's circle. You guys did it. Huge congrats to everyone who went out this fall run season and caught fish and took the time to send me their fish pictures to partake in the 3-part Surfcasters Challenge. Now, I have my laptop here with all the submissions, and we're gonna go through every single one, starting off with the first round, catching a fish on a sand eel teaser. Kicking it off, we have 2 striper entries from Bob Vendetti of New Jersey. We got 2 nice fish here caught on nice teasers, and then we're gonna continue our sweep in New Jersey with Carl Hodge. He has another nice one caught on a teaser. That was definitely, the Ava teaser jig combo was the hot one for the fall, I could say for sure, with the mixed bait we had out front. Moving on to another New Jersey entry, we have Gary Solentine, and he wrote a nice message saying, I wanted to thank you for this, and I probably never would have caught the fish I caught yesterday if I didn't use a teaser. I was fishing the Northern Ocean County surf using a diamond jig and an eel imitation. After an hour, I finally hooked up to a 31-inch striper that I tagged and released, as I'm a member of the Berkeley Striper Club. I'm sorry, but I never took a picture of the fish. It's fine, you're good, no worries. I only took a picture of the teaser I was using. I was so busy measuring and tagging the fish. I forgot all about it, but this fish was caught on October 24th at approximately 5 p.m. Thanks, Gary. I love when people, like a lot of guys here, have included their little stories about the fish they caught too. And big cahoots to Gary for tagging and releasing that fish too. Love to see it. And also he sent us the picture of the teaser he used, so that's really cool to see. Moving on to Long Island, we have Joshua Severin, and he has a nice striper here, another sand eel Ava jig combo with a nice handmade teaser that he made. Love seeing the handmade work. Next up, we have Sam O, Certifiable on social media. Another fish caught on a handmade teaser of his with the good old Jason Voorhees in the background, a little spooky for the fall run Halloween fishing season. And then we have a Open Boat Fisherman magazine subscriber from North Carolina, and his name is Rick Bear, and he says that he watches the Fisherman reports from North Carolina to plan trips to see his family in Cape May, and he got his personal best last October, a 46-incher, and he also did great in the spring run. And he got this short on an eel teaser and an over slot on metal, and then 2 more days of fishing and then back to North Carolina. But we love to see it that our reports are, helping you out, getting you on fish and making you want to travel to get on fish. We love to see that. And then we're back over to New Jersey with Jerry and his son Eric. And this is a very cool picture. We have Eric laying on the beach next to a striper, all big smiles there. And this is a 46-inch striper that Jerry caught at Island Beach State Park. And the cool thing about it was the fish was caught on a teaser that his son Eric pictured next to the fish tied. And he's 5'6", so you can gauge the measurements of the fish here to see how tall that is. I always love seeing people do it with tuna, or they did it with makos back in the day, laying next to a fish to see how long it is. That's always a fun thing to do. Moving on to Long Island, we have Paul Rudolph. He caught this striper on the Long Island South Shore, a hand-tied lefty cray black deceiver. And Paul says that he mostly fly fishes, but when he can surf cast, he finds a teaser very effective. And he was using a 3-ounce Deadly Dick metal with it too. And I couldn't agree more. Sometimes, reflecting on this fall run season, we had fish that would not hit unless there was a teaser tied on. If you just had an Ava jig, they wouldn't hit it. And then if you tied a quick dropper loop with a teaser attached, then it would hit. It was whack. This is a very, very finicky fall run season that took a lot of patience and a lot of just focus and just, reevaluating what you're throwing and stuff like that. But from the results of the Surfcasters Challenge, I can see that a lot of you guys were successful. Sticking to Long Island, we have Mike Brennan with his fish that he caught on another South Shore fish. I wonder if Mike and Paul are buddies here. He caught this short on a teaser and emailed me the next day. A lot of these guys I really appreciate. I logged in and I was getting email after email from guys catching fish literally that day or that night before and sending emails right away. So I really appreciate the swift response. And we're gonna move it back to New Jersey with a familiar face, even wearing the same beanie today. It's me. Yes, evidence that I catch fish. I mean, you know this, but I do in fact go fishing when I have time, and I did catch a fish on a teaser, a chartreuse teaser with a little bit of red flare on the bottom, kind of make it look like a wounded bait fish or like gill flare. I really because I used to tie and I still kind of tie a little bit. I'm getting into fly tying now, so pray for me. But I really like little attention to detail when I'm tying a teaser, like a little color flash, or if you add metallic hackle, it can make or break your teaser. And that's just me being a girly girl too. I like glittery, sparkly, pretty things. So there I am with my fish on an undisclosed beach location. Moving back to Long Island, we have Timothy Vess with a fish on a teaser, and that's actually, I like this one because it's a red head with black hair and it has a cute little eyeball on it too. Going back to what I was saying with detail, and you can see the metallic hackle on that. Love to see it. And last but not least, we have Dana Malshagen. And of course, going back to everyone's names, I'm sorry if I butchered your names. I'm trying here, but I'm sorry if I butchered anyone's names, but you're all doing great catching fish. And here we have Dana with our last entry for the teaser edition. So congratulations, all you sand eel teaser fishermen out there. I am proud of you, and I'm very happy that you submitted your entries. And we're gonna definitely do this again. I loved the amount of subscribers and viewers that reached out and they shared their stories with me about their catches. And stay tuned for next week as we go back to the winner's circle for pencil poppers. See you guys next week.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
The boats, bargains, and fun are back. The New Jersey Boat Sale and Expo. Hit the water for the best fishing season ever with savings on center consoles and fishing boats for inland and offshore. February 13th through 16th. New Jersey Convention and Expo Center, Edison. JerseyBoatExpo.com.
Life is better with a boat.
Now, when you come to see us at Wildwood this weekend, you'll get a complimentary copy of this January edition. So if you haven't picked it up in a newsstand just yet, you can wait until this weekend at the Wildwood Convention Center. And if you haven't gotten your subscription, obviously, you want to do that while you're there as well. But this is our annual Boat and Motor Buyer's Guide. We do it every year. Captain John Raguso is our boating and electronics editor, and he spends a lot of time during the winter months and the fall, too, because he was in Fort Lauderdale talking to the boat and outboard manufacturers to find out what's new. So you will find all the latest new boats and outboards in this magazine, and you'll probably see them when you're walking the floor, maybe in Wildwood this weekend or in a few weeks at the Javits Center for the New York Boat Show. That's January 22nd through the 26th. But also inside that January edition, there's a plug building feature by Dave Anderson. New Jersey's old salt himself, Nick Honicheski, shares his love for ice fishing in the Garden State. Nick Simioli from the Highmar Striper Club. He has advice for airing down of sorts with your surf gear from the 2024 season. Plus, you get to meet our Dream Boat and Coastal Kayak Clash winners from the 2024 tournament season. Bruce Litton has a frigid tail end feature on page 70, and right across the other side, on the right-hand side, on page 71, is a hotspot write-up from George Shower, all about Beltsville. And obviously, we get some ice conditions in the Poconos before any place else. We are in the midst of a cold snap this week. Temps in the teens here at the Jersey Shore for part of the week. We're in the lows in the 20s forecast for all the way through until next week from what I saw. But might be time to gas up the augers, assemble the tip-ups, get everything ready to head out there on the hard water. For a freshwater update, which includes ice conditions in the region, let's check in with my friend George, the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. The cold and the wind continues here in the Poconos, and that's why I decided to duck inside this week for my report. Last week was a little bit tough, so being a little bit smarter this week. The polar vortex is continuing here in the area, and we have lots of lakes here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey continuing to build some fishable ice. And looks at things over the next 10-day forecast, we're going to be building quite a bit of it. So the ice fishing season is on, guys. Just be careful and check the ice in your particular lake. We did have some folks check in. They were fishing some open water in South Jersey. Paul Seward checked in. He got his first bass of 2025. Congratulations, Paul. I know you always do well there in South Jersey. We also had Tom Lawrence check in. Well, he was out on Toby Hanna finding some fishable ice. Managed to get himself a brand new PB perch at 13 3/4 inches. Congratulations there, Tom. Also, his boy Ryan managed to get himself a 1.5 pound largemouth bass as well. Not too shabby for starting off ice fishing here in 2025. Guys, if you're thinking about shad fishing, and really who isn't, we have a great seminar coming up hosted by Kevin Ingram, and that'll be at the Al's Airport Inn on January 25th at 10 a.m. till noon, and that is at 636 Bear Tavern Road in Irving, New Jersey. Tickets are $20. You can get them online at osoutdoorsnj.com or give them a call at 609-227-8142. That'll be a great little seminar. If I know Kevin, he'll pass along a lot of information, and you'll probably have a great time too. Guys, be sure you get out and enjoy this ice. Go get on them. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
La Pura Vida, or if white perch is an option right now, several shops in New Jersey, including True World in Bayonne, Hook House in Toms River, Captain Dave at Absecon Bay. They're carrying bloodworms as much as possible through the winter months, possibly even live grass shrimp. I know Dave Scholl at Absecon has them. Even live killies, like you'll find over at Hook House, if you're looking to get into that winter fishery from shore by skiff or possibly even through the ice this season. Remember the days when Collins Cove in the Mullica used to freeze over? Perhaps this is the season. Now, if you go to thefisherman.com and select species, from the top navigation bar in blue, there's a drop down which will take you to any species you're looking for. So if you go to perch, you'll get tips, tactics, and advice from various authors who've contributed articles about white perch in the Fisherman magazine over the years. You can catch these tasty panfish in any of the salty creeks, canals, and estuaries in the Garden State. Now, you can also go to njfishandwildlife.com, learn more about white perch, biology, and behavior, though the folks there in Nicoti Creek in Port Republic at the division website, they also mention some specific areas where you can target white perch, including the Delaware River and its lower tributaries, including Crosswicks, Rancocas, Cooper, Big Timber, and Mantua Creeks. Additionally, you have those other coastal creeks and rivers, the Raritan, the Mullica, and the Great Egg Harbor River. Also from the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife this week, a couple of reminders. One, for those of you who participated in the Striped Bass Bonus Program in New Jersey in 2024, you were supposed to keep logbooks. And those logbooks are due back to the Division of Fish and Wildlife next week, January 15th. Now, the big benefit of this true game fish program in New Jersey, where a portion of the unused commercial quota for striped bass gets reallocated, a portion of which, to anglers, well, that's to collect data. And the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife makes really good scientific data of that log that you're keeping for the bonus program. So really, without the log information, there really can be no striped bass bonus program in New Jersey. Again, while you're rooting around over there at njfishandwildlife.com, be sure to update your license and registration for 2025. It's easiest for me to always remember saltwaterregistry.nj.gov. From there, you click on the register button on the right-hand side of the page. That takes you to the New Jersey Integrated Electronic Licensing System. That way you can get your freshwater license, your trout stamp. You can even get a hunting license over there. But of course, don't forget, you need to get your saltwater registry for the new year, 2025. Our notable fishery headline for the week is courtesy of NBC News, who reports that the first bluefin tuna of the year at Tokyo's Toyuso Fish Market's annual auction went for $1.3 million, marking the second highest bid ever during this annual event that's been run in Japan since 1999. Now, the president of the Toyosu Japan market, he said, quote, "The first tuna is meant to bring good fortune." Yeah, $1.3 million for a single bluefin tuna is certainly good fortune. You know what you don't see this year in conjunction with these million-dollar headlines for tuna? The doomsters and gloomsters from the big environmental groups. Now, you go back 10, 15, even 20 years ago, folks like Lee Crockett, who used to head up the Pew Environmental Trust, would use this high price of tuna for this annual traditional auction as an example of how bluefin tuna were disappearing from the face of the earth. And I guess that would make sense to the NPR-type reporters. I mean, if the demand for a single bluefin tuna was in the millions of dollars, then the supply must therefore be dwindling. A lot of the old fisheries management pieces I Google now that were 10, 15, 20 years ago, they don't always age well. Then again, neither do I. Our calendar of events for New Jersey is on page 10 of the January edition of the Fisherman magazine. It will take you through February 23rd at this point. But since going to print with this edition in December, I've got a bunch of updates that I can't wait to share with you. That will come in about 2 weeks, maybe 3, when we come out with the February edition of the Fisherman magazine. But there's a lot going on this winter, even as fishing participation continues to wane a bit in light of the cold outside. I don't think I've been outside in days. I don't plan on it. either. Get that January edition in newsstands or wait until this weekend for your complimentary copy there at the Fisherman table in Wildwood. Jenny will be there. John DeBona will be there. I will not be there. Scheduling this time of year, well, I have to keep my schedule flexible. And when we were working on the show, scheduling for the show, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be available that Saturday or Sunday. NFL playoff scenarios, Saturdays, Sundays, it's all for the birds at this point. Catch them up, stay warm. See you again next week right here, thefisherman.com, and of course, in the Fisherman magazine.